Yeah, this one is interesting, and actually, I want to make the same comment to the race between Max and Miguel. Also, Miguel has not missed a race this season. What that means is we have allowed the drivers to have one dropped race, so we drop the lowest result, and that gives Miguel actually a pretty big leg up here in the final calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the same logic applies to the battle between Bobby and David. But neither of those drivers have missed a race, so they're really just going all out for the finish.
Yeah, and so those are going to be the main storylines we're going to follow. It does look like Max Muir is provisionally on the pole right now. He ran a 159.148. That is his timed lap that is up there. Miguel Colon needs to really put in a flyer to have an opportunity to beat that. We're going to ride along with Miguel. He's on a hot lap right now and see what he has as he comes around, finishes this lap. Let's just ride along here and enjoy him, Ryan, as he goes through Sector 3, see if he can best that 159.148.
That is such a fast lap to try to beat.
It really is. The closest competitor right now is 5/10 off, and that's Victor Tanaka, the defending champion from last year. So really a super, super fast lap from Max. So we're going to find out here if Miguel's got anything for him coming here to the final few turns. And I think he saw 2 minutes. Got up to second, actually, 159.444. So that's going to put our protagonists and antagonists, and we can flip them back and forth, but they'll be on the front row. Unless something changes. Looks like Miguel may be wrapping up the lap. As far as where Bobby is, it looks like this is Bobby here. We're back on board with him. And Bobby's currently in 14th place, and David McNellis is in 15th. So we're going to have two all-out battles and wars here between these drivers. Looks like David McNellis has actually jumped Bobby in the qualifying as we speak, with laps coming in. David McNellis up to 16th. Bobby has fallen back to 18th. So, man, both sets of drivers, both in our Pro and our Am classes, have brought their A game here. And just a reminder to you all, if anyone tunes in here, the easiest way to distinguish, Ryan and I will always call it out wherever possible, but the easiest way to distinguish our Am drivers from our Pro drivers is all of our Am drivers have a number that starts with 200 in front of it. So it's a 3-digit number, and they're all in the 200s. That's the easiest way to designate the AMs from the Pros. And as we wrap up qualifying here, we'll give you a quick rundown of the top 5 in both categories. It's really, really tight. A lot of really great points battles. And so we talked about the first 2 in each. In the Pro category, Michael Parker finds himself in 3rd. Ricardo Delgado is in 4th, and JT Tammy is in 5th. And there's a lot of positions up for grabs where guys are just battling for points. In the AM class, we've got Bobby and David, who we talked about. Shane Hunter is in 3rd, Doug Hintz in 4th, and Chad Dick in 5th. So lots happening, lots of exciting things, and I really, really can't wait to call this one. 75 minutes tonight as well, Ryan. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, when we set this one on the schedule for 75, we knew that this is it's a big wide open track. It's a track everybody owns. It's a track everybody likes to race. So it really just made sense.
Yeah, and we have plenty of racing here to finish out the season, and should be really, really exciting from Silverstone. And, while we've got a minute or two here, we've got qualifying is wrapped up. Looks like Max Muir will start on the pole. Victor Tanaka ended up finding himself in 2nd position, and then Miguel Colon will be in 3rd. So that's an important development with Victor Tanaka getting up to P2 on the front row. A little bit of a spoiler there. So last season's defending champion has something to say about it. But lots to talk about. I think the first thing that we want to mention as we get into tonight is while this is the end of the season and the last race here, we've got a really fun season planned next. I've kind of heard some rumors that we're going to maybe have a new car introduced and 2 classes on the track. So everybody should be looking forward to a great announcement there. Will be continued terrific sports car racing here on Wednesday nights in the CMS iRacing series. We also right now have our Friday night series, which is fairly new, where we are doing something a little bit different. We're driving the NASCAR stock car trucks on Friday nights, and so would love to see some folks get out there. Those races are broadcast too. With our partners from V-Speed, and so just lots of great iRacing opportunities, Ryan. I know you and I are square in the middle of all that.
Yeah, so much good stuff coming up, and Timeteron Racing on the Twitch chat says this is this is set to be a great race. Fantastic venue to race on. I could not agree more. This is going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is just going to be there's a lot of I don't know, polarizing or varying opinions on the new Silverstone, but I for one like it. Of course, there's a lot of stuff I like about the classic layout as well. And when I think about Silverstone, I think of the classic layout back in the '60s and whatnot. But I like what they've done, and I think the track flows really well. I've had the opportunity to run a few races here, and it's certainly a hefty challenge. And you got to nail all your apexes, and it's when you win or even have a strong finish here at Silverstone, you feel like you did something right.
Yeah, absolutely, and technical, but not unconquerable.
Right, absolutely. And drivers are starting to grid up here now, and we'll take a look at all of them as they get onto the track. Still waiting for a lot of them to get ready to join behind the pace car. So obviously some last minute things happening with these folks as they all kind of get ready to get into their cars. I still see that there's Max Muir. He's finally out on the track. Actually, I think that's Victor Tanaka. They must be teammates because they both got the plaid cars. You may know that more than I do, Ryan. But
actually, I do think your paints are out of date.
Oh, they are? Okay. Maybe I need to try to do an emergency refresh. Let me do that. And we'll see. No harm in doing that. We'll see if we can't get that fixed. I'm going to do a couple of things here, so if everyone will just bear with us. We want to try to get the paints right for you all. I'm actually going to do a complete refresh of those real quick. Might see a little bit more UI here in the iRacing while I'm doing that, downloading the paints. But we'll do that while they're on their formation lap. And hopefully those will come through here in just a minute, Ryan. You'll have to let me know if they look a little bit better. They should be starting to come in now. It looks like some of them are.
Miguel's hasn't updated yet. It's hard to tell. I think some of these are defaults.
All right.
Yeah, that didn't work.
We'll give it a minute.
Ready to
here we go. And it's still downloading the paints, by the way, so it may take it a minute, which is fine. Here they are. They're off to the races, and down we go. Miguel Colon with a terrific start here. He's all over Max Muir. Gets alongside and around Victor Tanaka to start. So a fantastic start for Colon to mitigate that risk that he had of being in P. And here come the paints now, Ryan. They're starting to come in, at least on my side. So I think that we've got the paints fixed. I'm seeing a Mobile 1 paint scheme for Max Muir, and I'm seeing the TPRT paint scheme that I'm so used to seeing with Miguel Colon. But, boy, he made quick work of Victor Tanaka there and just decided he was not going to have any part of that.
Yeah, that was some great heads-up racing there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we have had an issue in the back. I'm going to stay here with the leaders as Miguel Colon looks like he is going to possibly pull out here and try to take a move. Paul Darling has had an accident. We'll come back and show you what happened with Paul here in just a moment. But Paul has definitely had some sort of an issue. That's a notable name that we want to go back and make sure that we call out. Looks like Larry Ford may have had an issue as well. So we'll go back and take a look on those here real quickly. In fact, we'll do that now as Max Muir gets a little bit of a head start out above. So here's Paul Darling. Looks like he hit the grass, comes around, no harm, no foul, doesn't hit anyone. That's going to put him in a huge hole. And let's see what happened with Larry Ford as well. Here's Larry, middle of the screen in this Porsche GT3. It's like some brake lockage, and Larry was just kind of around it, but I don't necessarily see that he was caught up in anything. So it looks like he's okay there. So a little bit of a false alarm for Larry. So other than that, I think generally speaking, fairly clean start to the race.
Yeah, that's a great start.
So as they start to break away, these are two guys that we're following. You know, they are separated by a mere 1 point in this thing. And they've both shown up here tonight, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know they're not going to leave a millimeter on this track, or about 0.24 inches for you American guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check in here really quickly as well on our AM category. David McNellis is got the advantage so far over Bobby B. He is in 19th overall. Bobby is in 22nd. So David here in this pink and white car, I believe. This is the Pride car, if I'm not mistaken. Keep me honest on this, Ryan, but I believe that this is
Trevor
David
Project.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, the Trevor Project in the 237. In a heck of a race here with James Stacy, it looks like, and Doug Hintz. That's Doug in the Reese's car, but David is out front of Bobby, so he's doing his part in the AM category. He's going to need Bobby to have some trouble, and David's going to have kind of the race of his life. But that could happen. That certainly could happen. And you'll see Bobby here. He's in the picture here. He's just a few cars back. This is him here in the 212. That's the golden black car, the Logos car, as he is just a few positions back. So really for Bobby, Ryan, all he really needs to do is keep David in sight, and he's got him covered off.
Yeah, pretty much.
What a great start to the race. The cars are all tight. We're seeing all kinds of battles throughout the field. Larry Ford's in this thing. That's Anthony James right behind him. Peter Hebron. This is we've got 34 cars here tonight, and from top to bottom, they are throw a blanket over them.
Yep, pretty much. This is exactly the kind of racing that we're all about.
Yeah,
nice clean start, everybody just getting away safely, and then immediately going into ultra race mode. Bumper to bumper all the way down.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's kind of watch a few views of the cars coming by. Here they are coming at us. Some static shots here. Yeah, a little bit of a moment. We're kind of focusing on Bobby and watching the field come around with him. You can see him here in the black and gold car, kind of coming in and out of the shots here as we see some of the various corners at Silverstone. You can just see how tight this field is, starting to get strung out a little bit. That's Brad Wren just ahead of Bobby, who Bobby's chasing now. And I actually want to comment and give Brad a shout out. It's really, really great to see Brad back out on the track. Was racing with CMS for a long time, years ago, and was kind of one of our more respected drivers, and took a pretty good break from sim racing and off doing some other things. We haven't seen Brad in a number of years here at CMS, to give you an example, but just recently found us on the Discord, got back involved, decided he wanted to get out here and race, and sure enough, he's already out here kind of mixing it up here in the top 5, it looks like, in the AM class, so he hasn't missed a beat, Ryan.
Yeah, that's really great. I just love the stories of the people that, maybe had to take a little break and come back. Speaking of taking a break and a comeback, you might want to have a look at Paul Darling working his way through this field.
Yeah, I will. Where is Paul? So he is back in 31st position. We saw the issue with Paul early on, and let's kind of watch him come at us here a little bit. And so we're going to kind of set on a corner here and watch him come to us and see if we can get anything as we start to see him kind of around here. Here he comes. Yeah, he's in a gaggle of cars here. And he's got his work cut out for him. But we've seen him do this before, Ryan. I remember at Magny Cours last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago, I think it was last season, where he had a really amazing run and damn near won the race. I think he might have gotten all the way up to about P2, starting from about this kind of position. Not the kind of thing you want to do digging a hole. And he's got a lot of work to do. He's 24 seconds behind the leaders right now. But we've also seen Paul be the one guy who a couple of times has won races on not having to pit when some of these other guys have. But he will have to pit tonight, 75 minutes. Not going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
But with 75 minutes, that's going to bring in a little bit of strategy, and when do you pit? And you'll have to tell me. I don't think they are limited in any way by tire sets or anything like that, unless I'm mistaken.
No, that's completely driver's discretion. They've got 85% of a maximum fuel tank to work with, and however they choose to do that is completely up to them.
Boy, Paul is in a mess back here. All these guys are racing heavy per position. A
couple of them have not made it easy for him to get around.
Yeah, and I am seeing a new GT40 out on the track. Is that David Nelson or Edward Nelson? I think that's David Nelson. Or maybe not. Who is this in the GT40? I think it's Edward Nelson, number 96 here in the Gulf livery. So this is the second time. No, that's it's 279. Peter Hebron.
Peter Hebron. Yeah,
so Peter Hebron is the only driver I've seen brave enough to join the GT40 crowd besides JT Tammy. So this must be a new move for Peter since I've been away.
Yeah, it's a very small crowd.
Boy, they are dicing it up. Look at Paul Darling in this as we ride along with Peter in this chase view from behind. Feel like I'm in the movie Bullet or something here, watching, sitting in the trunk of the Charger while the Mustang's chasing me. That's the way they filmed that movie, by the way. I watched a docuseries on it one time, and apparently they got a lot of the really close-up shots of Steve McQueen by sitting in the trunk of the Charger and going up and down the streets of San Francisco. So that's the view we have here of David, and you can see Paul Darling just kind of all over him here from behind. So big battle going on back here. Let's check back in with our leaders. They have not been more than about 2 or 3 tenths apart, Ryan, the entire time since the green flag's driven here. So as fast as Max is and as dominant as he has been from time to time, Miguel has obviously brought his A game here, and he's gonna keep him inside, I have a feeling.
Yep, that is Miguel's job tonight. Is don't let Max get away. Then
keep the pressure.
Then all options are open. Be it pit stops being a little bit quicker or a move near the end of the race. Anything's possible then. But if Max gets away, that gets way harder.
Right, and I'm kind of looking at this the last 2 or 3 laps here. It looks to me like Miguel, they're pretty even, but Miguel is maybe a little bit faster than Max is right now. So he just needs to keep the pressure on him as we ride with Miguel here now in the car. Max has been able in a few of these races, at least some of the ones that I have covered, he's been able to really get out and not have a lot of pressure, where he's been able to just sort of drive, freely with a big lead out front. But this is about as much pressure that I know that I have seen him ever under, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles it.
Yeah, for sure. And just about any other driver, I would say, that pressure, maybe you could pressure him into making a mistake, but I'm pretty sure this man has ice in his veins.
Yeah. He seems to. He definitely has it all going on, for certain. But Miguel is all over him, and certainly looks like he's going to make a race out of it. And Victor Tanaka is not too far behind either of them himself. That's Victor in the picture you see here as well. Looks like Ryan, Anthony James, and Edward Nelson maybe have had an issue. Let's see if this was together. Here they are. It's Anthony in the Dunkin' Donuts car. They're just behind Paul Darling, and they do make contact. That's Edward Nelson. Good Lord, they're hooked up there. Oh, my, still wrecking.
The iracing magnets.
Yeah. A couple of collided Italian cars. And that was not good for either of them. Looked like AJ maybe got the worst of that. It looks like David Nelson has also had an issue. Let's see what happened with David here in the BMW. Yeah, he just loses it and spins. But keeps going, so nothing lost there other than just kind of losing a little bit of his pride.
A couple positions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Frog or 15 is, but in the Twitch chat, I guess in response to my comment earlier, they're saying Max is able to zone out, and they can't even crap talk him to mess him up. Must be a teammate or a friend.
Yeah, he is definitely, I think you said ice in the veins, right? And he definitely... it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep that up and live up to that, because he is under all sorts of pressure from two of these drivers. And by the way, the three of these drivers have checked out from the field. They have got an 8-second lead over Logan Grado, Christian Okendo, Michael Parker. So that's kind of the race that's happening here. So we will keep our eyes on it. Ryan, let me know if you see of anything that changes before I do. But you know, let's also make sure that we pay attention to the others. Let's do a quick field rundown of. We'll start with our AM class. So let's focus on our leader right now, and that is the leader of the race, who we've not had the opportunity to talk about here. And a big shout out to Chad Dick. He is in a battle right now, but this battle is for overall position. He is not battling anyone directly on the screen here that you see in the class. So really, really solid run for Chad as you see him come at us here. And looking strong. I don't know, you'll have to help me with this, Ryan, but I don't know if Chad's had a win or not this season. But he is certainly putting himself in a good position to have one right now. He is 5th in points. And it looks like maybe he did have a win in class at Donington, if I'm looking correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could maybe, and that was last week, so maybe try to make it 2 in a row. So Chad off to a nice start. He is up on Joe Stifle by about 6 seconds. So here's Joe behind him here, and zoom out a little bit, let you kind of get an appreciation for where Joe is. He's about 6 seconds behind Max. You can't quite see Max on the screen, but Joe Stifle in 2nd position right now, having a solid race of his own. Joe is somebody that I think that both Ryan and I really want to shout out to. He has joined CMS and really become a terrific member. He's had 2 podiums this year, one at Long Beach and another one at Watkins Glen. He's made just about all the races I can remember doing, Ryan, and he's also been in the Porsche Cup Series. So I really love seeing Joe out here, and I love seeing him race with us, and it's really cool when we find, and he's a fairly newer member, you know, been with us maybe a year now, maybe a little less, which is just great to see. And he is in a battle here as we go back through the field, you know, in P3 in class. Right on his tail here is Benjamin Depew. And Benjamin is a new name to me, Ryan, so you'll have to help me, let me know if this is maybe a new driver who's recently joined the series.
Yeah, Ben is new to us in iRacing. So he's been, I believe, R Factor 2 or ACC, I can't remember which, but he's been active at CMS, just not in the Wednesday night chapter.
Yeah, and I'm actually not seeing him with a result in the series, so maybe this is, dare I say, his first race on Wednesday nights?
I think you might be right. He's been in the practices, but yeah, this might be his first start.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's
I'm sorry, he was, I was looking at the wrong sheet. He was here for Watkins and Donington.
Okay, so his third race.
I thought he had, I just wasn't seeing it.
Well, that's terrific. It's great to see him out here, and Ben, a shout out to you for doing a really good job in P3 right now in class and looking really, really strong. And I think that's another thing worth mentioning too, Ryan, is maybe let you tell the members a little bit, or those that are watching, a little bit about all the things that we do here at CMS. A lot of people may not know that.
Yeah, well, we've got, you mentioned a few of the things that we've got going on in terms of, the truck series that we've got on Fridays. Just finished up the Team Endurance Series, IRTES. Last race was last Sunday. And just gearing up for the 2024 season of that already. Those talks start pretty early.
Yeah, absolutely. And also kind of what you alluded to that I was thinking about as well is that it's great to see someone like Ben here as we continue to ride with him, who maybe found us through R Factor 2 or Assetto Corsa. We've got really all disciplines and all the major sims that we run here. And, got here, got involved, it sounds like, got involved racing with some guys, and then, probably discovered that we also had an iRacing chapter and presence, and here he is now kind of getting involved in that. And I think it's that, that's what I love seeing the most is when guys get involved doing multiple things with us, and it's really refreshing to see that.
Yeah, so definitely we've got things, every day of the week. We have between R Factor 2, iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Assetto Corsa, AMS2, and the one I'm forgetting at the moment.
Automobilista. Yeah, you name it. We've kind of got it going on, and it's just really cool. And love this story. As we talk about Ben, he's Joe Stifle is gapping him a little bit now, but still having a really, really solid run. And then if we look just a little bit behind him, not far back in this beautiful Reese's car that is making me hungry. I am ready for a Reese's after this. This is Doug Hintz. At one point, he was driving a Cyberpunk 2077 car, and I guess he decided that he wanted a little bit of change of pace. That Cyberpunk car.
You get the munchies. What are you gonna do?
You get the munchies from time to time, right? And this car is a good follow-on to the Cyberpunk car. I think I like this one just as well. It's a beautiful BMW paint scheme. And then that's David McNellis behind him, one of our key contenders we've talked about in the AM category tonight. And he has currently a one-position advantage over this black and gold car of Bobby B, which is, there's a James Stacy from the Pro Division is in between the two of them on the track. But Bobby doing what he needs to do right now. And even though David is leading him on the track and doing his part, Bobby is the man that, if it were to end right this second, would have the championship win. So really, really cool. That's what's going on in the AM class. We'll go over to Pro, and we'll do it, work our way up a little bit from the top 10 up. Let's start with just kind of a quick flyby of all these drivers. Here in the Jägermeister car, we've got Gabriel Albano. Gabriel, a really, really terrific member, a champion at CMS in our AM category, I believe, last season. Made the switch over to Pro, and, while one man's poison is the Reese's, it seems like another man's is Jaeger. So I don't know what's worse for you, Ryan, the Jägermeister or the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. But definitely a really good run for him. He's actually in P9 right now. Stephen Yanni is in P8, and a little bit of story here between Stephen and Gabriel. These are our two defending in the two previous seasons AM champions as they raced here together on the track. Both of them converted to Pro, and both of them holding their own, Ryan. In the top 10 here, really, really solid, and I think that it's good to see them making the transition from AM to Pro. And, man, they are in a battle here all of a sudden. That's Chad Dick that they're racing with, and this is for the lead. No, my apologies. Chad is the leader of the AM category. I was thinking of those guys, how they were in AM, but they actually are in Pro category, and they're getting around Chad right now. Which is interesting because Chad probably just needs to let him go here, I would think.
Well, they are all racing for the same points, so...
True.
He sure doesn't have to.
Yeah, true. So he certainly doesn't have to, but certainly don't want to see him get turned or anything like that.
No.
And I don't think he will. These guys are pros. They know what they're doing. But really good battle here between Stephen Yanni and Gabriel Bono. Just a little ahead of them by about 4 or 5 seconds in kind of a place of his own right now is Ricardo Delgado from the Sim Racing Puerto Rico team. This is a teammate of Miguel Colon. Ricardo having a terrific season in his maiden season with CMS. I believe he's top 5 in points, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan.
Top 3, isn't he?
Yeah, he is actually in 4th. He's just behind Michael Parker. So Ricardo having another really strong season. He had a podium at Monza. He's had a lot of good finishes he's strung together, and has just been really strong. Christian Oquendo ahead of him in the Mercedes. This is the highest running Mercedes we see on the track as well. I believe Christian is also part of that Puerto Rico stable, so also a teammate of Miguel Colon. And just some of our most talented drivers are from the Sim Racing Puerto Rico chapter. They go by Sim Racing PR, and I'm actually seeing Christian pushing here on another Porsche as they battle. In between two cars. I was seeing a little bit of an issue with Christian on the timing, but I may maybe just be on my end. I think actually we may see something here because my timing may be a little off from my presentation, which is okay. But anyhow, I'm going to stick with this a moment just to make sure that Oquendo is okay. I think he is. He's just kind of fallen back. So at any rate, got a little bit out of sequence there. And here it is now. This is Oquendo, Ryan, with trouble. So I was a little bit out of sync, and let's watch what happened here. It's a pirouette amongst these 3 cars that were racing together, and this is not good, Ryan. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we got to talking about him up there in the top 10, and as soon as we did that, it looked like he had to come to the pits, unfortunately, for a fast repair. So that's unfortunate. We'll have to see how Christian's able to recover from that. He has lost a lap, and that kind of unfolded a little bit. Sorry for the confusion of anyone watching. I was a little out of sync with my timing versus what I was seeing on the screen, and I think I had gone backwards and just didn't get caught back up. This is Michael Parker in the 23. Michael defending one of the defending champions in the series, also our recent Porsche Cup champion in IRTES, and so happy for him and all of his accomplishments. Michael in 5th place right now, and 14 seconds back, though, as he races here with Logan Grado. This is a battle for position, so this is Michael and Logan on the track together, and these guys are having their own race, Ryan, but they are 14 seconds behind the other 3 up front, which we're going to get to here in just a moment, but that just goes to show you how fast those other 3 are.
That's a big gap. An update on Christian Oquendo for you. It looks like he has taken a DNF. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's
the CM.
Yeah, that's a shame. So we saw the spin, and it didn't look terrible, but he must have just really boogered up the car in the right way with the suspension, and maybe he had already had an issue earlier and just decided to call it a night. But good battle here on the track between Logan Grado and Michael Parker. Logan, another driver who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is fairly new to the series, maybe this season, and looks like he's kind of sporadically raced, but had a win in the series and at Retskogen Motorsport Park, and then also it looks like a podium last week at Donington. So he is having a really good season, and maybe someone, if he comes back next season, Ryan, a new champion contender if he shows the kind of talent he has been showing in the races he's been in.
Definitely, yeah. He's been very worthy of the spots that he's earned there.
Absolutely, and being able to be in front of Michael Parker is, you've accomplished something when you can be in front of him, because Michael is as good as it gets here as we ride along with Michael as he gives chase to Logan, but so that tells me immediately Logan knows what he's doing, because Michael is one of the best.
Absolutely, and also, well, part of being the best is being consistent. And if you were to rate Michael's skills out of 5 stars, his consistency would be 5 stars.
Ryan, we have had a change for the lead here. Right as I was talking about that, it looks like Miguel Colon. I've kind of gone back a little bit here. Looks like Miguel Colon may I've gone back. I saw it on the timing, so I wanted to rewind for the members and go right to the point here. Let's watch what happens. He just looks like Max just let him go. And Max now under pressure from Victor Tanaka as well. What is going on here? I think Victor's going to get around him as well. So Cologne around. Let's see if Tanaka can get around him. He is. Look, he's off. He's got a problem.
I'm wondering if he got a slowdown. Because there was a
boy,
bit of
look at all of his cards. You see his wheel? He is...
Oh, yeah.
Something has gone terribly wrong here for Max Muir. And Ryan, this may be opening the door for Miguel Colon to win the championship. We got a long way to go here. But I think if they were to finish in the order they are right now with Victor Tanaka in between them, I think Miguel would win the championship.
That door is wide open, David.
Yes, it is. It is wide open at this point. And we saw that unfold. Max is dropping back like a boat anchor. He's gone in one lap here to a 3-second gap to Miguel Colon. And it, to your point, it almost looked like he had a slowdown of some sort. And when he did, I don't know if it just threw him off, and all of a sudden it just was sort of a series of mistakes.
I don't know, because, he's, I still see him kind of wrestling with the car.
Yeah, let's ride along with him again a little bit more here. I think that's warranted. Wouldn't you agree? Let's watch him here. Maybe you and I just go quiet for a minute. Let's just see if we pick anything up.
Yeah.
I'm not noticing too much here, are you?
No, it looks like he gathered it up. Another thought I had is maybe he just cooked the tires.
He may have. And, he's now kind of taken a few tenths out of that gap. And he's back in to about 2.5 seconds, where it had gotten up to about 2.7. But, this is so close. And you and I couldn't have asked for a better situation. That, you'll have to help me with what does a win pay points-wise versus second place. I think it's fair to say whichever one of these guys finishes on the track ahead of the other is going to win the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Miguel already had the advantage of not needing his dropped race. But Max does not have that advantage because he's missed a race.
Right, so worst case scenario, to your point, we could see Miguel get a DNF, and he would still maintain the 301 points that he has, is I believe what you're saying. Whereas there would be no change to him. This race would become his drop. He would have 305 points. Max Muir, though, doesn't have that luxury. He's actually missed 2 races from what I'm able to see, which is just but he's also had 4 wins. So when he's been here, he's been somewhat dominant, but he doesn't have anything to play with, and it's really essentially going to come down to which one of them finishes ahead of the other tonight, I think, is going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that simple. We believe, of course, everything Ryan and I say is unofficial until the admins look at it and everything, but we believe here that Max Muir, to win the championship with 4 wins to his credit so far on the season, has to finish in front of Miguel Colon. And Miguel Colon, who we ride on here now with from behind, as he starts to come up on lap traffic, is in the catbird seat with about an 0.8 of a second lead over Victor Tanaka, the defending season champion from last season. Don't you know Victor would love to play spoiler? We haven't talked a whole lot about Victor, Ryan, but here he is on giving chase to Miguel. We know he would love to play spoiler tonight and turn the conversation his direction, wouldn't he?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of, and I'm looking at Victor. He hasn't had the same season he had last season. He has not won a race. He's had 3 podiums. He's missed a few races this season, and maybe some of that was fatigue. He's only 14th in the points, but he's had a couple of bad finishes as well. He's had races at Spa, Long Beach, and Ritskogen where he had low finishes in all 3 of those. So, a little bit of a disappointing season for him coming off the championship, but no better way to end a season and go out with all the momentum than to see if he can't kind of stay up on the wheel here and get around Miguel Colon.
Yep.
I have a feeling Miguel is going to make that thing very wide, though. Every opportunity he gets, right?
Oh, definitely. He wants to stay as far ahead as he can and not lose any time, because that gap that he has is the only buffer he's got to keeping that number 1 spot in the championship alive.
Yeah, by the way, don't look now, but Paul Darling now up to 15th position. So we talked about him a few minutes ago. He's now made his way all the way up to 15th. And this is another story. Bobby B is on pit road here, Ryan. So let's watch the pit stop, see if he comes in here for tires. This is the leader in points in the AM class. We want to see what Bobby does here. So let me get on him where we can see kind of what he's going to do here. He is up for tires. So tires and fuel here. We are a little less than halfway through the race, I think. Right about halfway, maybe by the time he comes out of this pit stop. It looks like he's going to do a one-stop strategy, tires and fuel. He's one of the first cars of significance. He is the first car of significance in the points battles tonight on the pit road. And looks like routine service to me, Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, well within the window. We're going to see a lot of cars coming in pretty shortly, I would think.
Yeah, 33 seconds in the box, 58.8 seconds on the pit road lane together. He is the first one to pit. So what we will have to do is see kind of what that does with David McNellis. Here's David. And we know David is kind of who he's racing for the championship. David is going to need Bobby to have trouble, is the long and short of it. And they were, David, a little bit ahead of Bobby on the track, but both of them continuing to chase our leader, who frankly has checked out from everybody, and that's Chad Dick. Chad Dick here in his Porsche has not only checked out from the field, Ryan, in AM class with a 10-second lead over Joe Steifel, but he's got about 8 or 9 pro cars in between them, and Chad putting on a dominating performance tonight in this Porsche.
Yeah, when Chad's quick, he's quick.
He is. So Chad, another guy we want to give a shout out to, someone who has been really active. He raced a lot in IRTES this season with his team. He raced in the Porsche Cup Series. I believe he is, if I'm not mistaken, part of the Dog Bear team, maybe. Hope I have that right. Generic paint scheme for him tonight, so I hope I'm not messing up his team. But Chad definitely having a really, really strong showing tonight, for sure. Let's call out a couple of guys, Ryan, that we don't normally get to talk about. What do you think? I've got a few of them here that look like they're having a pretty good battle as well. Let's start with NT Padavani. Did I have that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, NT, and I don't know what NT stands for, so I can't wait to learn that for myself. But look at this car. It's beat up. But you can't miss this thing out on the track. I mean, the colors on this, got about every color known to man on this thing, Ryan.
Yeah, it's making a statement. I like it.
It is, and even though he's obviously had a little bit of trouble, this is Jack Clark right behind him in the Reflex Machine BMW, and they're having a pretty good little battle here. This is the two of them here. This is for 22nd, 23rd place, and I don't know a whole lot about either of these guys. I don't know if you've got any of the notes handy. If you don't, that's okay, Ryan, but I like to talk about guys we don't normally get the opportunity to talk about, especially when they're having a good race, and these two guys are really dicing it up. They've been kind of going back and forth and put on a little bit of a good show here, which just goes to show you there's always somebody to race with, whether you're racing for first place or last place, and I'm good at racing for last place myself. There's always someone here at CMS to race.
I don't know about you, but I always remember the battles and not so much what position either of us were in.
Right, absolutely. That's kind of the same way for me. And good to see these two guys out here having a good race. And, you know, Ryan, another driver we talked about a little bit earlier who looks like, unfortunately, has had a problem is Benjamin Depew. Here it is, racing with Paul Darling. And I hate to say it, but it looks like Paul turned him, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good recovery.
Good recovery. He did a 360 like he was, Tara Lipinski or someone in the Olympics. And that was proud of myself for that. I did that quick on my feet and came up with a ice skater that would do. It looks like Paul. Look at this. This is a gentleman move here. Paul's going to give him the position back.
Yep.
That's what we like to see. That is how you race here at CMS. Paul gives him the position back, and even though Paul quite a bit faster and the kind of driver who we know is capable of running up front and competing for wins. That was sportsmanship there if we've ever seen it. And I think what we got to see there, Ryan, is what makes CMS special. And kudos to Paul. Made a mistake. He turned Benjamin. I know Benjamin wasn't happy about that. But Benjamin now knows what he did. And I think that will make Benjamin come back. And I think it will make Paul feel better about himself. And I think these two guys have put it behind him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you avoid IRRs. That's how you avoid drama. And, none of us are perfect. Now, I hope he doesn't spin him a second time.
That would not be good. Yeah, he's taking a real wide berth here.
Yeah, he is. Let's watch this. This is a good battle here. He's on the inside of him. Is Benjamin going to race him? He's not. He's going to realize he's beaten here. And now Paul's around him the right way. So,
yeah.
Okay, looks like Richard Delgado is coming onto pit road here, potentially. I'm hearing that he's signaling for the pits, and he is on pit road now. I was a little bit behind there, so this is Delgado. We zoom out and see him here, taking tires. He is another one of the drivers taking tires, and it looks like Benjamin Depew also signaling that he's going to come to the pits. So we're starting to see some pit stops here now as we get to kind of that, underneath the halfway point.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that's going to do for the battles that we've got, especially the one up front.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's get in here and stay on this battle up front here. Here they are. And not much has changed since you and I moved away from it a few minutes ago. Cologne, if anything, he has stretched the lead just a little bit over Tanaka. That's about less than a second, but about 0.8 gap. And then Max Muir is about 2 seconds back. So all three of these cars are very equal. And it's really between the three of them because Michael Parker and Logan Grotto, Michael has now gotten past Logan, by the way, are about 20 seconds behind these guys. what do you do here? You know, especially if you're Max Muir, right? Do you try to do an undercut here, come in before these guys, in your opinion, Ryan, and try to change something up? Max obviously needs something to kind of re-stimulate his race. It kind of went to meh by his standards.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go for the undercut here because he's got a lot of clear track. So I think the move is just to put the foot down and get the most he can out of this clear air. Run the last of the fuel out of his tank, get the benefit from that, and then just hope for the best. Like give it all he's got.
Yeah, give it all he's got. Just kind of see what happens. He's continued to drop back here. He's now down to about 3.5 seconds from Cologne. So Cologne's really checked out here. You can see them up ahead, about 2.9 seconds to Tanaka. So I'm wondering if, all that pressure that he had, and we talked about how well he handles it, generally, maybe though it wasn't so much of, falling victim to such pressure, but just maybe used his stuff up a little bit more. Which, I don't know. You would think would lend itself to him coming in, perhaps, to maybe go ahead and get the fresh tires, but he doesn't. Oh, he's in now. So as I say that, he's coming to the pits. So here he is. Let's watch this. So he'll be the first of the three. Assuming he's going to come up on the jacks, get tires and fuel. Can't imagine he wouldn't take tires at this point.
Not with how he had to drive the tread off of him.
Now, does he take 2 tires or 4 tires is the question. Let's compare his pit stop to maybe Bobby B, who we talked about earlier. Bobby, 33.3 seconds in the pits. Max, or 33.3 seconds in the box for Bobby. I'm looking at Max with something similar. In fact, I'm actually seeing him sitting in the box a little bit longer.
Yeah, this is a long
Ryan,
stop.
I think he's got a problem. Oh, boy. Ryan, I think he's got a serious problem here. He's dropping like flies. Yeah, he's 30 seconds long in the pits. And look at him cranking on the wheel. See him sitting there?
Did he have a hardware issue?
He may have. This stop was 1 minute and 2 seconds sitting in his box. And 1 minute and 27 seconds sitting on pit road. There's more to this story, and he is definitely fighting a mechanical problem of some sort, either with the sim or with his equipment. I think you're right. There's something going on here that we don't know about, but it was almost like he had to let those guys go. Maybe a shifter wasn't working entirely right, or something has gone wrong. Maybe somebody smarter than us or closer to Max can tell us in the chat on Twitch. I know he tends to have some supporters, so we definitely would love to see or hear more about what happened. But by the way, Miguel Colon is on pit road now, so let's watch Miguel's stop. Here he is. He's up for tires, Ryan. Been in the box now about 10 seconds. We're seeing average box time anywhere from about 19 to about 30 seconds. He's out. This is a normal stop. Routine, mundane stop for Cologne. Really fast stop, actually. Only a total of 46 seconds on pit road altogether. So he nailed it. He did what he needed to do. And that has given the lead to Victor Tanaka. So here's Victor. And watch Victor coming at us at speed here. This is our new leader for the moment. See him go by. So I got to think Tanaka's coming in maybe this time, Ryan, you think? You don't want to lose too much time to Cologne.
Yeah, we've seen Victor with some sort of unorthodox pit strategies before, so who knows?
Yeah. With Victor, he's in the fun position of he's got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever he does, he's got to be thinking race win. Because at this point, I think Miguel Colon has all but wrapped up the championship so long as he can hold it together for 28 more minutes. Which I believe, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, Ryan, but Miguel Colon, should he win the championship tonight, I believe this would be his first GT3 Sprint Series championship. I know he battled with Michael Parker, and Michael took that championship. Both of them are previous Porsche Cup champions at CMS, but I believe this would be the first Sprint Series championship.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm just going off of memory here, though, and it's not the most reliable thing some days.
Yeah, it feels like Michael Parker, since you and I started broadcasting these, maybe was the champion, then Victor Tanaka, then whoever's going to win it tonight, unless I missed a season in there somewhere.
Just watching David McNeilis here and James Stacy in quite a battle as McNeilis is yet to pit.
Yeah, I'm on this here now. This is McNeilis, who we ride with here. And he's giving Stacy everything he can handle. It's right on board. Neither of these cars have pitted, so this is a true battle for position here. And McNeilis right now, Ryan, I'm showing McNeilis. Now, he hasn't pitted. That's the issue. But right now, he's within range on the track to maybe overtake Bobby B for the championship.
Yeah. He's
in 8th. Bobby's in 19th. What's going to happen when he pits, though, right? How many of those positions are going to compress? And I don't know if you can work the calculator a little bit, but how many positions does he have to finish ahead of Bobby to win the championship? I remember we had this in maybe the first season you and I started broadcasting with Stephen Yanni. Remember, Stephen just kind of had to get a position. He was in a battle with Gabriel Albano, I believe, and Yanni ended up taking that by just kind of managing the outcome he needed. And I think we're in a similar situation tonight with these AM drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it quite on the fly, but I might have an update for you a little bit later in the race.
Sounds good. Looks like Victor Tanaka's on pit road. And here he is now. I'm going to give you a status update here. Can he get out in front of Miguel Colon? He did. Ryan, Victor Tanaka has gotten out of the pits. He had a 2-second faster pit stop, 44.1 seconds on pit lane total compared to Miguel Colon's 46.6. And we've got a new leader in the race. Victor Tanaka waited, came in, took a little bit less fuel. I'm assuming took at least 2 tires. We've got a new race leader.
Wow, this complicates things.
This really does. Now, I shouldn't say that. Technically, in fairness, Michael Parker is the race leader right now because Michael has not pitted. But this is the battle for the lead, and we are on it right now hard. Look at this. They're all over each other. Peter Hebron in the way here. Peter's thinking, I want no part of this. He's going to let him go on the inside. Peter does the right thing, and Cologne now all over Tanaka. And you know that both of these guys are really, really, really hungry for this win. Tanaka wants to show he was champion last season for a reason, right? He's had a tougher season. Cologne, he wants to win the championship with his second win of the season so that he can say that he had, not only just a single win. I mean, any win is important, and he did have a win at Road America, but he wants to also be able to say that he finished by taking the win at Silverstone, and it wouldn't have mattered what Max Muir did, even though Max has had trouble. So I got to think they're both hungry for this in a big, big way.
Oh yeah, and not for nothing, but much like Michael Parker 2 seasons ago, Victor's championship win last season came without a single race win.
Right.
So I'm sure he would love to be on that top spot tonight.
Right, and and these guys are all fast, and every one of them is capable of winning a race at any time, and which is phenomenal, right? But they, you don't have to win the championship, right? And like we've seen both Victor and Michael do, they won by just putting podium after podium after podium together. But it doesn't tarnish it in our mind, but they want that win, right?
Yep.
Here's Miguel, and because of the two different stories here, I think they both equally want the win. Now, Victor can be pretty aggressive here. He can defend. Miguel doesn't have that luxury because we know that Max Muir is fast, and even though Miguel can fall back on the drop that he has not used, don't look now, but Max Muir is back into 10th position, and it wouldn't surprise me, Ryan, this is Max that we ride along with now, it wouldn't surprise me to see Max drive himself back up here to the podium. He's that talented of a driver. And so
he can do it.
Yeah, what we can't have, or what Miguel can't have happen, is to get into a battle with Miguel, lose his head, and get a DNF, right? Or have to tow to the pits or something, right?
Right.
Because then that would put it right back in Max's hands. So this thing is far from over at this point. I'm excited.
So, yeah, and so I think that if I've done the arithmetic correctly, and that's a big if, it seems like Miguel, if he can just hold on, even if he doesn't win, as long as he can hold on to a podium, I think his championship should be buttoned up, because his lowest race was only a 10-pointer, and a podium will get you 40 points.
Right, and so he's just got to stay within himself. He can't allow himself to get going door banging with Tanaka, and Tanaka's not going to be afraid to door bang if he has to, because Tanaka doesn't have anything to lose. It's win or go home for him, right? So he doesn't, but Miguel can't fall victim to that. As much as he wants the win, he wants the championship more, and we're going to have to see him keep it together mentally. So before we come back to this and really focus on it, how about we do a top 20 rundown? Just kind of call out everybody in the top 20 tonight.
Sure thing.
All right, let's do that. Let's go to get a good camera view I like, and let's start with Jack Clark. Here's Jack Clark in the BMW, 20th position. We talked about Jack earlier. He was having a good race with NT Padovani at the time. Shout out to Jack for a solid top 20 tonight. Benjamin Depew, we saw, had some issues. He got into a tangle with Paul Darling, but was able to recover. Paul gave him that position back. He's having a heck of a battle right now with Larry Ford. This is Larry ahead of Benjamin, and Larry in 18th position tonight. And, shout out to Larry. He's had a solid season. He's in 7th in points. And has continued to put together a good string of finishes. Larry has had a couple of good solid top 10 results in the points the last couple of seasons. So Larry currently in 18th position. David Nelson in 17th, ahead of them. David, one of our favorite drivers at CMS in the BMW GT3, drives a lot with our endurance team, and just an all-around great guy, and great to see him having a good run. David McNellis, these are our two guys we're going to talk about next. David is chasing Bobby B both on the track and in the race now. David in 16th position needs to finish ahead of Bobby, who is actually ahead of him right now in 15th. So this is Bobby. He's doing what he needs to do to cover off David and our predicted winner of the AM Championship at this point. Bobby has had a terrific season, and looking at his standings, I'm showing 5 podiums. I think as part of that, let's see here, I think just 2 race wins for him in class. I'm seeing that he had a win at Motegi in round 1 and another one at Retskogen. So Bobby having just a terrific season. Brad Wren in 14th position. Chris Braun in 13th. Ryan, I don't know what you know about Chris. Driver I'm not real familiar with and we haven't talked about tonight, but don't know if you have anything to add on Chris, but he's having a solid 13th place run.
Yeah, Chris has been with us for a little while. He's been just one of the, sort of quieter but just consistent and good drivers that we've got. So really happy to have him.
Yeah, and looks like Chris is been racing about part-time in the series. He had a season and best finish in the top 5 at Spa. So really, really nice season for Chris, and having another solid run here tonight. Solid, right around the top 10 in pro class. Joe Steifel, who we talked about, in 12th position. And Joe having a good run. He's given chase to Gabriel Albano in the Jägermeister car. So there's Gabriel in 11th. And then we get into our top 10, and that starts with the leader, who's been the leader all night in the AM category, and that's Chad Dick. Chad having a really, really solid race. He's been pretty dominant in this race in the AM category, and looking to make it 2 in a row. Ryan, he had that win last week at Donington, and 2 in a row would be a really fitting place for him to finish his season.
Yeah, finish on a high.
Yeah, absolutely. JT Tammy in 9th. We've not talked about JT tonight. We regularly do get the opportunity to talk to him. He's our favorite GT40 driver. We shouldn't say favorite. We like Peter Hebron just as much. But he is our first GT40 driver, or person brave enough to take the GT3 car out for a spin in the series regularly. And just ahead of him is Max Muir. So that's Max. You can see just ahead of him here in 8th position. And so Max is, Ryan, he's putting together some quick laps. He's working his way back up to the front. So Miguel's going to have to stay on it.
Sure is. And Max just did his fastest lap of the race at a 1:59.1. Absolutely insane.
Wow.
Pace.
So see, I'm thinking you were right. I think it was a hardware issue. He had to fix a hardware problem on pit road, is what I'm guessing. And that's
the
a
only
shame.
thing that's making sense to me, in my mind anyway.
Right. Something went wrong with his gear. And, it happens. That's part of it, right?
Yeah, you might not break a diff, but you might break your direct drive wheel.
Right. You could break something, right? And Max giving chase to Ricardo Delgado. Now, this is interesting because you got to think Ricardo Delgado is going to make this thing wide. And the reason for that is because he's got Miguel Colon's back. They're teammates. And so he's going to race Max as hard as he possibly can because he's racing for Miguel right now. And I got to think those guys are on a Discord together. And Miguel's saying, keep him behind you. And Ricardo is pretty fast himself, right?
Yeah, he is very quick.
Yeah, so 7th place overall. Up in 6th place, we've not talked about Mark Nister tonight, but Mark Nister having a really, really good run. Love seeing the... is that a cat on his car, Rand? On the side of it? I can't tell for certain.
I don't know.
It is!
Oh, yeah.
Bite me, I guess, is what that means. Look at this thing.
Oh, that's great.
Mark Nister with the Penguin RC logo on his windshield banner. Great to see that. Penguin RC, one of our big sponsors at CMS, and also a shout out to simrace247.com. As it looks like, as we're watching this, Max Muir is making a move to try to get around Delgado. He really wants around Delgado, but can't quite get there. Delgado going to continue to make that wide. Stephen Yanni having one of his best races of the season in 5th position right now. So what a terrific run for Stephen. He is really having a great run here tonight. And this may be his best run of the year. I want to see where he is in points. I think it is absolutely close to it. It looks like he had really solid top 10 runs at Road America and Hockenheim. But he's got a top 5 going tonight, Ryan. So he's got to be just thrilled with this run.
Yeah, this is peak Steven, but not too far off from where he's been. He's always had it within grasp.
Yeah, he's looking really good tonight, and Steven just a great guy. Really want to thank him for being a part of the community and being such a model driver on the track, and participates, and we love that. So Steven, congrats to you for a great run tonight, and a shout out. Logan Grado in 4th. Logan continues to give chase to Michael Parker. These guys have not been real far apart the entire race. Michael has moved up to the podium now with the troubles earlier from Max Muir. By the way, Max Muir just got around Ricardo Delgado, so we'll go take a look at that. You can see here, back here now, Max Muir's moved up to 7th place. So Miguel Colon cannot blink, and we'll give a quick shout out to Michael Parker in P3. He's here by himself on the track. He's 23 seconds behind these two guys. And these two guys is where the race is, Ryan. Look at this thing. Colon and Tanaka. And I have a feeling they're not going to be any further apart than what we see them at right now the rest of this event.
No, it's going to be just bumper to bumper. Any edge they can get, they're going to take it.
Absolutely. What do you do if you're Miguel here? Do you kind of just ride behind him, hope he makes a mistake, and you make your move on the last lap, Sector 3, kind of where they are now? Do you want to get around him sooner than later? Are you happy with 2nd? Curious what your thoughts are if you're in his shoes, knowing what he's dealing with here tonight. The championship on the line, wants the race win, how bad does he want it, etc.?
It depends if he's done the math. If he knows what he needs to do, and if I'm right about the math, I think he would be fine to just sit back here. But I could also see him just wanting to get around Victor, take get the win if you can get it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting position to be in. I've got to think that he's a part of a pretty good team. And I have a feeling, this is just me, I'd love to hear from Miguel and the team directly, but, Christian Okendo, we saw earlier, had that DNF, right? And Christian, Miguel, Ricardo Delgado, they're all part of the simracing PR Puerto Rican community. Did someone like Christian maybe stay on to kind of be that calming voice in Miguel's ear to make sure that they bring home the championship for the team tonight, right? And that could be what he may need the most right now to kind of, because, Miguel, he could be, he likes to win, right? Let's face it. He could just be thinking win, 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 and what he may benefit the most from is those guys in his ear to say, let's keep the big picture in mind.
Yeah, and it depends what's more important to Miguel, too.
Yeah.
I know he's a guy that just loves to race. And, not to take anything away from winning a championship, but, he's just loving every moment of this battle with Victor.
Absolutely. And Miguel actually just coming off of a win last Friday night at Mid-Ohio in our truck series, in the NASCAR-style truck stock series. Put on a clinic, led every lap at Mid-Ohio. So the man can race just about anything. And by the way, he is leading that truck series, Ryan. And it's running 80%, 90% ovals. So, you could put him on a... Oh, here he goes. Going for the move here. Can he get it? I think he's answering our question, though. He's here to win this race.
Yeah, he sure is.
He's flashing his lights and everything, saying, "Hey, I'm the champion. Let me through." And Victor Tanaka's just smoking a cigarette, saying, "Ain't gonna happen, buddy. I'm going for a win." And he's saying, "Until you're it, I'm the champion, because this is the defending champion and the potential new champion together."
Yeah. Miguel's saying, I won this race. You just don't know it yet."
Right. This is really, really exciting. I don't think we can leave this right now. We're going to have to stick with this battle here. We've kind of done our best to talk about everybody, but this is what we want to watch here with the two of these guys. Let's see if we can get some speed shots of these two here as they go around beautiful Silverstone.
Just about couldn't see Miguel in that shot. He was so close to the back of Victor.
Yeah, really, really intense as they go by here. Let's look maybe a static cam where we see them a little bit more than what the speed cam gives us, but let's just kind of watch them go through each of these little static cameras that we have. We're going to see them come right at us here down the long straight.
They're glued.
Just glued together. But, as we talk about this, Miguel, I think it's kind of one of those things like, whether it's a foot race or we're on big wheels or we're in stock cars or pickup cars. Here he is. He's going to go for the move again, Ryan. All over him. He's looking. He's wanting to make the move every corner now at this point. He's got 8 minutes left in the race, so he is... And I think he's probably a little bit faster than Victor. But, faster and being able to pass someone like Victor is not... Those are two very different things.
Yep.
Both of these drivers, I think, are, in my opinion, we've talked about this before, especially we spent a lot of time talking about it with Victor last season. They have so much raw talent, and I think consistency is the one thing keeping them from being at the elite level in iRacing, is consistency. So I'd love to see these two drivers with their talent as he goes for the move again, sticking his nose out there. I'd love to see them take the consistency of someone like Michael Parker. And, boy, that'd be pretty hard to beat when you combine those sort of characteristics together. Their talent, which Michael has the same kind of talent himself, but then add the consistency. I think that's what they need to continue to both work on. And right now they're showing the consistency. They're both staying within themselves here.
Yeah, and when we talk about consistency, these guys absolutely have far more consistency than most of the people that you'll ever race with. But yeah, I think, David, you're talking about that like stratosphere level of
right, just kind of that
in the aerating range or something.
Yeah, where you could kind of represent a community like CMS which we would love to do and talk to these types of guys. At the top level of esports on iRacing, and I think that but there's also there's a lot to it, right? It's how you act on and off the track, and right now I'm really proud here of what Victor's doing. We've seen Victor get emotional. We've seen him kind of make mistakes. Maybe get a little angry with some red mist before. As he's grown up here at CMS. He's been racing with CMS now for 5 or 6 years, but I'm pretty proud of watching him drive right now with Miguel giving him chase. Victor is doing everything he can to show that maturity, and I like what I'm seeing.
Absolutely. All of these guys this season have been really, really demonstrating that.
Yeah, they really, really have. All right, we are quickly going to check in on our AM category championship contenders, and here they are. This is Bobby B. He is out front. He is ahead of David McNellis by... are they nose to tail here? They are. They're racing nose to tail, so it's a similar battle, Ryan, but there's a different gap in the points. Right, McNellis needed to be 8 to 10 positions ahead of Bobby, and he's 1 position behind. But look at these two; they're putting on an equal show. So they're both leaving it all out here, and we're getting exactly what we wanted to see from the two of these guys in this race as well. Just phenomenal. They have done their part of the bargain, haven't they, all these drivers tonight?
They sure have, all season long, but this race especially has been really the epitome of everything that we're all about at CMS.
It has, and we're not perfect. We've had highs and lows. We had a tough race a few weeks ago at Watkins Glen. In the start, it was just a mistake from one of our top drivers, Michael Parker, I think, and it kind of created a big issue, but everybody kind of persevered through that, and we're here having a really strong finish to the season. I do want to call out Chad Dick one more time. Chad is our leader in the AM category. He has a pretty dominating lead right now over second place Joe Stifle, about 15 seconds, so no pressure to Chad. He's in 9th position overall and looking really, really well. But where things continue to be really, really tight is right up here at the top with Tanaka and Cologne. Now, while this has been going on, Max Muir has worked himself back up to 6th position, and he is on Stephen Yanni for 5th. So, Ryan, this just goes to show I don't think Cologne can afford to tangle with Tanaka and get into an accident. I just don't think he can. I think Muir's too close at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope especially the viewers don't take what I say as the gospel when it comes to how many points he needs, because we're trying to do a lot of math on the fly and broadcast at the same time here, but it's my belief that if Miguel stays where he's at right now, we'll be looking at the Season 3 champion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, of course, we will make all of that official with our statisticians. And Max has, a mechanical problem, was going to do him in tonight, unfortunately. And he didn't have that drop race to play with. So the cards were stacked a little against him tonight. And sometimes you just don't have the luck you need. Not only to win these races do you have to be good, you have to get lucky too, and he just wasn't able to find all of that tonight, whereas Cologne has to this point done everything he needed to do and put himself in position, and now it's just a matter of here I think they're going to see a white flag maybe next time by, Ryan, so we'll call him in and we'll call down maybe to the top. We'll call down all the way through Bobby B and David McNellis to the finish to show you where all those guys finish here in the race. Maybe, if we can, maybe go down to the top 20. But we want to stay here with Tanaka and Cologne because they are on top of each other. I'm starting to think Cologne may have resigned himself to think I'm going to finish second here and win the championship.
Yeah, my money's on that.
Yeah, because he's faded just a little bit. He's down to about 0.8 now, so he may have realized that, I put the fight up and Tanaka's got his elbows out. And we will try, if they are available to us, as soon as the race is over here, Ryan and I will try to do an interview with both champions that we believe will take those crowns tonight, if we can get them to come talk to us. Their availability and time permitting, of course. And as we're on the white flag here, I think, look, he's flashing his lights. I don't know why he's flashing them. Maybe to say congrats? To not, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he would do that to me.
Oh, no, Miguel absolutely would.
All right, so Victor Tanaka, this is the man of the hour here. Looks like he's going to come around here. I believe he's going to get a checkered flag right here, Ryan. Sure is. This is coming around the last few corners. There he is. Victor Tanaka takes the win tonight at Silverstone. Miguel Cologne in second. We have to go back a little ways. They're still way back in Sector 3, 23 seconds behind. This is Michael Parker. A phenomenal season for Michael coming to the finish line. What another terrific season for Michael. and he will finish, I believe, on the podium in the points as well. So Michael will come around, flashes his lights for a podium. Logan Grotto will be next to come across the line here, back in 4th position. Logan will take P4 tonight. Here comes Max Muir coming around, involved with some lap traffic. Max Muir worked his way all the way back up to 5th position after all that. Steven Yanni right behind him in 6th. Ricardo Delgado coming home in 7th. That's Delgado. JT Tammy crosses the line. Chad Dick is our winner. This is Chad Dick, the winner in class for the AM Championship. And I want to go back to David McNillis and Bobby B. It looks like McNillis has gotten ahead of Bobby on the track. Bobby's fallen back, Ryan, but I don't think he's fallen enough back for it to be a problem. But it looks like McNillis going to finish ahead of Bobby. They still got a little racing to do. McNellis currently in 15th position. Project Trevor car. So congratulations to McNellis. Looks like he will unofficially finish in 2nd position in the championship. And then here comes Bobby B. We want to give a fitting shout out here to him as he takes the checkered flag and is our unofficial champion in the AM class. Wow, what a great race, Ryan. I am so excited about this.
I was looking forward to this one, and it did not disappoint.
Absolutely. So a huge shout out to our newest champions in the GT3 Sprint Series presented by simrace247.com, Champion Motorsports, as well as our iRacing Team Endurance Series. We're so thankful for the opportunity to do this series. We're super appreciative of SimRace247, and you can see a very fitting windshield banner of their website here on Bobby's car as he takes his victory lap and parade lap to cool down here. We're going to just stay with him to congratulate him on his tremendous accomplishment. Be sure to check out simrace247.com for just their great news around sim racing. They do a lot of exclusive articles that they're able to get access to, and they do a really, really good job promoting the hobby for all of us. So shout out to all these guys. Wow, Ryan, what more do we say about it?
Congrats.
Yeah, so we'll pan out here on Silverstone. I wonder if you can help me get a couple of these champions in the chat with us here in a minute.
I can
we'll
indeed.
Give them a minute to get off the track and take a sip of water.
Yeah, they're all filtering in now.
Yeah, maybe we can talk to...
I can get you a Victor Tanaka.
Yeah, maybe we talk to Victor here real quickly, talk to our race winner if he's available, and then we'll get our 2 champions. And if Chad Dick comes around, maybe we'll get Chad as well, our 2 race winners and our champions, pinning their availability.
Hello, Victor. Congratulations on the win tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
It was funny because just before the race started, I was making a joke about how it's a lot easier to win a championship than to win a race in CMS.
We talked about that on the broadcast too.
Yeah, and like my only
Oh, we lost you a little bit, Victor. You must have it. Oh, we got you now.
All right. Yeah, so my only goal this race was to make sure that Max won the championship. So I failed. But, I'll take the win.
Yeah, it looked to us like Max maybe had some sort of a technical issue. I'm not sure if you're aware of what happened, but it looked like he kind of quickly gave up the position to both you and Miguel there. Do you have any insight into what might have happened to him?
Oh, I think he just had like a half spin. Then he had. Oh no, that was a slowdown. He had the slowdown on the second to last corner. I forgot the name of corners. And then so then we went side by side, and then he had a spin after that.
Yeah, and it looked like
he was
maybe a little rattled, and it looked like he spent an extended amount of time, about twice the amount of time you guys did in the pits. So maybe he had to clean up some damage or something. But yeah, you to your point, you did what you could to help him, and then it became about getting that win. And Ryan and I were super excited to watch you. And we commented, Victor, I think you showed a lot of patience and maturity there with Miguel on you, and just a great drive for you tonight. And you showed him until the end. You were the defending champion, and we're going to be there until he could wrestle the trophy out of your hands for the new season.
Yeah, so I think Max either had a spin going into the pits, or he maybe had a speeding penalty, either or. But yeah, at that point, I was just having fun, just trying to win the race. I was short on, so like I saved a lot of fuel behind them in the first stint, so I had a shorter stop, and I also only took 3 tires to make sure that my stop was shorter. But like Miguel was right on me, so I knew it was going to be all the way to the end. But he had the championship on the line, and I just wanted to win. So, I just wanted to see how far he was going to push it.
Yeah, and it looked like maybe, I think that was the race-winning move. You were able to get out 2 seconds ahead of him on the track and then never yielded. And, he put a lot of pressure on you there, and we thought he was going to go for the move. But I think maybe the last couple of laps he realized that the fight was... he gave it what he could and did what he needed to do because, Max had battled back to 5th position and, the last thing Miguel could have afforded to do there was get into a tangle with you because that could have been the difference. It was that close for the two of them.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty smart. He's going for the championship, so I don't think he would have risked it too much. But basically, so I crossed the line with 10 laps to go with 9 minutes and 58 on the clock. Meaning it was super close for it to go 1 extra lap. So the whole second stint, I was managing my fuel. I was kind of fuel saving, just lifting a little bit before every braking zone to make sure that I made the extra lap. But then as soon as I crossed the line with 5 laps to go, I realized that I was good. Which was when I turned up the pace a little bit. So yeah, and then he couldn't really get close, too close after that.
Right. Well, hey, congrats on the win tonight. Anybody you want to thank or any shout-outs you'd like to make before we wrap up for the evening with you?
Yeah, we keep talking about Justin because, he just doesn't show up. He shows up whenever he wants, and he's really good. We keep asking him to come back and race with us, but we got a pretty cool group, like me, Max, and JT, we usually race together in Discord. Max always helps me out with setups and stuff. I did have the total of 5 laps of practice before this race. But yeah, thanks to Max and his setup, which I seem to enjoy the setup better than he did. But and then hopefully we can get a 1-2 next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congrats, Victor, on the win tonight, and a fitting into your defending championship, and we're proud of you for the run tonight, and enjoy it.
It's just happy to know that I can actually do it, man. I was starting to doubt myself. Yeah, but thanks for the broadcast, guys.
Yeah, you proved it for sure. Certainly. Great job.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thanks, Victor.
Ryan, do we want to bring in Miguel or Bobby?
We have a Miguel. How are you, sir? Congrats.
How's it going, guys? Thank you.
Yeah, huge congrats, Miguel. Wow, we are proud of you, man. Tell us about it. We just want to hear all about it from your perspective.
I had to say, I was giving everything I had to Max in the first section of the race. I put up practice for everybody on Sunday, and I took it seriously to try to work as fast on keeping a nice pace with the hot temperature. And I say early in the Discord channel, I'm trying to keep my pace around this, and that's the pace that we were able to keep and maintain. I know Max was coming, I would say, faster than me coming out of the corners, but the double apex and the slow corners, I was able to gain him through the entry and mid corner. He had a different light that helped him in the exit speed, but I think we were kind of very even. I think maybe putting the pressure on him so early through the whole race, being so close, I think he overthinking I need to get every split second I can in my speed stop, and I think he overspeed the pit line. I mean, he get a penalty or something like that. That's what I'm guessing he had. But we're talking about championship, 1 point difference for the championship. Everything matters. So we came to the clutch.
Yeah, it was something else to watch, and we knew it. We had a question for you. I had one question, and then I'm sure Ryan has a few or a couple. Was Christian Oquendo or Ricardo Delgado or anybody from your team, the Puerto Rican community, in your ear, kind of helping you stay focused on the big picture, or was it just you on your own tonight?
Actually, I got mad with them because they had an incident early, and they said like, "Oh, I'm out," so they drop out of the channel. I was like, "How you guys can do this to me? I need you guys to be here for the race." But at the end, I was like, "Man, I'm very close." They said, "Yeah, how you doing in the front?" It's like I'm concentrate. I'm like half second, point two, point three with him. I'm able to keep with him, so I'm gonna keep pushing. Let me keep focusing here. I think I could challenge Victor for the win, but I didn't want to risk the championship at the end. And then I had a plenty of tracks to use. And then I made a mistake looking in the time left of the race. And when I look forward, I missed one of my breaking points. And then I lose the gap that he had. So I tried to force using some of the off track to get back to him, but then I start getting squarely and a little loose. I was like, it's not worth it. Max had the issue. I'm in front of him. That's the guy I'm racing for the championship. So second place, I would take it.
Yeah, Ryan, I know you've probably got a question or two you wanting to ask Miguel or hear him comment on.
Yeah, I have many questions. But I mean, Miguel, it looks so good tonight. You were just like planted the whole time in, I'm sure, what was some pretty immense pressure, knowing what you needed to do to, to fend off Max and take the championship. So, what was going through your mind, or what did that feel like for you?
So I actually, when we started the race, I was able to time the start of the green flag with Max, and I think Victor fell asleep a little bit on the startup. I was like, okay, great, because I know that Victor like to be aggressive and he's very hard competitor. So I was like, as long as I could keep him behind, then I could focus just working with Max and forget about Victor behind me. As long as I have that second gap with him, and allow me to focus on just try to follow Max, hitting his break points, covering my break point a little bit, but not trying to push too much to pass him, just to let him know, like, hey, I'm here. I tried to flash the lights a couple of times on him, like, hey, like, you're a little slow, like, let's get it, see if I play that mindset with him. But Max is a great driver. Every race he always put a big gap into everybody. Coming to this race, I say, you know what? I need to put my practice time this time and try to give a fight.
Yeah, well, I was watching the pre-race practice, and I was a little worried because Max had just about a second over everybody else, and then I think there was maybe 10 minutes left in practice, and you came in just a few hundredths off of him, I think. And I was like, "Oh yeah, we got a race going on tonight, boys."
Yeah, I think I was gonna able to beat him on quali, but I got out off track, and then I kind of aborted the lap at that point, going through the S's in the second lap. But like my predicted time for the last one, it was gonna be almost identical to him, or like 59.0. That's what I was aiming of what my screen was saying. So I was like, okay, I think he knowing that I was able to match him in quality pace, and then on practice race, I saw his lap time were kind of very close. So okay, he may see like Miguel is coming today. Like we have a race today. Sure we did. It was very fun race today.
Oh, and it was really fun for David and I too. It's so good to watch, and hey, glad to see you winning a championship here. You've been racing with us every week, and congrats on bringing it home.
Thank you guys. My last championship with you guys was in 2021 in the Sport Car Series in the summer fall season. So it took me 3 years to get back fighting.
We're really proud of you, and you've been just a tremendous member here at CMS, Miguel, and love having your enthusiasm and enjoy this. It was just a phenomenal season for you and a great night tonight as well.
Thank you, guys. I really want to say thank you to my wife also, because these couple of days she have been off work during night, so it's allowed me to she keeping up with our baby Stella, and then me able to at least spend some time practice for this final race and get back in the fight for the contention. So that helped a lot. So thank you to Evie, my wife.
Well, good. Thank her for David and I as well.
Yeah, thank her and your beautiful daughter, and enjoy the night tonight and the celebration. And can't think of a more fitting champion and well earned. So go enjoy it, my friend.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for putting all this together. It was also see some good battles with everybody. And then I want to say thank you also to our sim racing community from Sim Racing PR in Puerto Rico. You know, our sponsor, Don't Say You Might Shop, and CMS for putting all this together. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's so awesome to see Miguel Colon and have him in here, Ryan. Can't think of a better champion than him. And what do you see if we get our other champion in here, Bobby? You want to see if you can pull him in here and we can chit chat with him?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Excited about that. We'll give him a minute. Ryan will go see if we can grab him. I know he is available. So we want to pull him in here tonight, get a chance to talk. Bobby had a really good race tonight and really good season in our AM category, and just kind of put it all together, which was phenomenal. Really good battle with David McNellis. Fell a little bit short to David McNellis tonight on the track, but did what he needed to do to take home the victory. So it looks like he's here now. We'll bring him in. Bobby, you got a copy?
I got a copy. Do you have one?
We do. Congrats here from David and Ryan. I know Ryan wants to congratulate you and ask you a few questions, and I know I probably do too. So congrats from me, Ryan. I'll let you take it away and offer your congrats and maybe a couple of questions for Bobby.
Absolutely. Yeah. Congrats, Bobby. Hey, this is your first season with us, is it not, in iRacing?
Yes, first full season. I think I took part in maybe two races or three races last season.
Right. Well, hey, talk about off to a good start.
Yeah, thank you. It was an amazing season. Let me tell you. I mean, the racing was really really close. So I really had a blast with that.
Yeah, we've really appreciated you just being a part of the community too. You've been really active with us in the chat in between races and practices and stuff like that, and love to see that. But wow, love to see the racing tonight. Why don't you talk us through it? What how did your prep go? How did the race go for you?
Yeah, Silverstone is not one of my strongest tracks. I really like racing here, but it's just one of those tracks that I just can't really get a good rhythm on. But I mean, I had adequate practice. Did about 35 minutes yesterday, and then right before the race, knowing the track pretty well, and my goal was to just take it easy and keep it as clean as I can, which was a failed goal of mine because I ended up getting a drive-through 2 laps before the end of the race. But yeah, it was pretty nice. We had a couple of close battles in the beginning. Then I kind of had a lonely race. Planned to load a little bit less fuel in the beginning of the race so that I can change tires in the middle. It looks like the drop-off for the tires was pretty significant in this track. So I got the new tires, and then I was a little lonely until Dave McNellis caught up with me, and so we had a great battle in the end.
Yeah, well, he is your number 2 on the points, I believe. So that, yeah. So had you already done the math and figured out what you needed to do tonight?
Yeah, I looked at the standings during the weekend. It looks like we both had the same amounts for the drop round, and we both had 10 points were our lowest score for the season. So I was already 11 points behind, not behind, 11 points ahead of him. And so my plan was to just take it easy. Even if I have a so-so race, I still would be in a good place.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you guys got to, run nose to tail a little bit tonight. That just seems fitting.
Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. It was a good season, and we were really proud of you. Very consistent. was great to see you kind of, dicing it up with David tonight. You did what you needed to do, and can't think of a better way for you to start your season here and career with us. And it's also been, I think, just a shout out to you. It's been really refreshing to see you getting involved in a few things, racing with us in the endurance team. And I know we were on the track with you this past weekend at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So just really want to thank you for leaning into the community and being a part of it. We're super excited to have you.
Oh, I'm super excited you guys are here. It's a great community. And when I came back to sim racing about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, first place I looked was CMS, and never looked back. So I'm not looking anywhere else. You guys are amazing.
Well, we love to hear that, and again, a big congratulations to you. Before we wrap up, anybody in particular you want to thank or shout out to for the season or the race or championship or just in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, first and foremost to you, David, for driving the whole ship here, and for the streams and everything. Ryan being part of the streams, organizing the races, and of course Michael Parker. You guys have been very, very tight in running this league, so that was a big plus. And I think that's the numbers that we've had this season really speaks volume of why this is happening. It's because you guys are organizing it so well.
No, thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, Bobby. Yeah, and certainly appreciate you saying that and your involvement. And hey, go enjoy this with your family and or whoever you want to enjoy it with. And we can't wait to see you back out here with us to maybe do it again.
Awesome, thank you. I'm gonna go crack up that sparkling water now. So thank you guys.
That sounds fantastic. Enjoy it. So that's Bobby in here for our championship. So Ryan, I told the guys that we had a few announcements, and I'm going to make a couple of them, and I'll hint at another and see if there's anything you do or don't want to say. So you might
you want to have a quick chat with David McNeilis.
Yeah. We can. Do we have David in here as well? Yeah, sure.
We do.
Certainly. Yeah.
Hey, folks. How's it going?
Hey, David. How are you, sir? Great. You did what you needed to do. You finished ahead of Bobby tonight on the track, and that was about all you could control, right?
I had a great time this season, and man, Bobby, it was a lot of fun to battle him tonight. I ran behind him for 15 minutes at the end, and I would have liked to have beaten him and taken the championship, and I would have liked to have taken him in the race without him picking up the penalty, because would have liked to just held on.
Well, you did, really a great season for you, and I think this was at least your second season, if I'm not mistaken, with us, and it was good to see you kind of, at the top all season long, some really solid finishes, and I know every time that we got the opportunity to talk about you on the broadcast, we enjoyed it, and we're really consistent. So I think Ryan and I both would love to just hear kind of what you took away from the season, what some of the high points were for you, and that type of stuff.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, this was my second season. CMS is my first league to ever race in, so I've had a great experience with you guys. It's been phenomenal. The racing's been great. The communication has been good within the Discord, and just all the folks are really stand up, and I got nothing but positive things to say. For me, for the season, man, it was just, I felt so high at some points, but then you had a couple of those starts that were just so darn ugly. But what can you do, right? Racing is half luck when it comes down to it, unless you're like a Max or a Miguel, where you're just an alien. But yeah, I just had a ton of fun.
And even then you need a little luck, because Max didn't have the luck he needed tonight. It just, you got to be good and you got to be lucky, right?
Yep. Yeah. Gotta have both. So yeah, I'm excited now to move into next season and see what we're gonna do next.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to have you here, and enjoyed having you out on the track with us. We love your paint scheme, and it really pops, and it's for a great message, and thanks for sharing that, and it was really nice to see it featured out there on the broadcast quite a bit tonight. So you have to go back out and watch it. We got the opportunity to talk quite a bit about you tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much, and thank you for the supportive words about the community and the Trevor Project. Appreciate it a lot. So you guys have a wonderful night.
You too. Have a good one, David. So that's David McNellis, our second place in the championship for the AM category, and that'll be all the interviews we can do tonight. But what a great guy, David. He's so gracious. It sounds like, Ryan. I know that's what I took away from talking to him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a teammate of mine, so I've had a few more chances to talk to him than you might have, and yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, that's just terrific. Well, a few things, and we got a couple of announcements to make, 3 of them actually, and so we'll get into those here briefly. But before we do that, just really quickly, I want to first of all thank all of the members of CMS for their support. Thanks for tuning in to watch Ryan and I do our thing. We'd love to do every race. We haven't been able to do every one of them, but we try to do them when we can. He and I both really, really enjoy this, and it's a lot of fun for us to do it. And we couldn't do any of it without all the great members that are part of the community as a whole and that race with us. We also want to thank all of our partners at CMS, not the least of which is simrace247.com. They are our title sponsor that we have on this series. We do a lot of cross promotion with them, and they really help us draw people to our series and to our community in general. And we've got great partners like Grid Finder and Penguin RC Simulation, as well as all of our own brands like Storm Gang Simulation and all of our IRTES properties at CMS. And just really thankful for the opportunity to be able to do all of this. So, without further ado, for those of you that have stuck around to watch us, just a few announcements for our iRacing series, a couple that I'll get into, and I'll have Ryan share some details on the last one as it pertains to this series. But excited to just really announce in general the overall health of our iRacing community at CMS is as strong as it has ever been. And because of that, we'll just kind of work on announcement 1, 2, and 3. So the first is pertaining to our Friday night truck series. If you've not had the opportunity to tune into those or race in those races, please come get involved. We are having a terrific season. We're about halfway through it right now, and it's the inaugural season for us. And for those of you that may not know, we went back in time. That was the CMS Roots was originally a NASCAR league, and so I took up the idea to bring back some stock car type racing with the trucks, and it's been popular. It's been a big success for us on Friday nights, and so I'm excited that we are going to have a second season and hopefully many more after that. Planning on doing that season as soon as the winter. So we could see that start, after we finish this fall series, maybe take a 6-8 week break, and then we could get that started before the holidays. And we also hopefully will be able to continue to find a way to broadcast those races. We've been super excited to partner with V-Speed. If you haven't watched the races on the V-Speed 2 channel, and our partners, Adam and his team over there, certainly do that. So that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is we just finished our IRTES iRacing Team Endurance Series. You will see our logo here, which is the sort of parent to this GT3 Sprint Series. They're closely sort of tied to each other. As many of you know, anytime we have an IRTES event, we try to make sure that the GT3 Series has lined up at the same track in any given week. So with IRTES being sort of our flagship series at CMS. And when I say flagship, it doesn't necessarily mean it's any more important than anything else, but for us, we use it as probably our largest marketing tool that allows us to attract the brand people to the brand awareness of CMS. And it's been really, really successful. We just finished our 3rd season of IRTES, and I'm very excited to announce that we will be back for season 4. A couple of things I can tell you all that we are planning on factoring into the season. First of all, we could see the addition of a 4th class. We're thinking about making that potentially geared around more amateur drivers in nature. From an iRating perspective, there's some work to be done on that. So I think we could potentially see a fourth class. I believe we will also see in IRTES an expanded schedule potentially, where if we can, we maybe go from 6 to 8 races. We're also toying with the idea, none of these are finalized yet, but I think just kind of give everybody a preview that stuck here with us on the broadcast. We're talking about the idea of doing what we call a sprint enduro. So we may have a couple of rounds that are a little bit unique and different in format where you still race as part of a team, which is what the whole team endurance series is about. But rather than it being a driver swap race, you might have driver A and driver B both on the track at the same time, either in 1 or 2 splits, and then we take the combined total in points and finish position for those 2 drivers to go towards the team score. And it maybe be a little bit shorter race in nature, like maybe 90 minutes or up to 2 hours in length. So it still is a little bit of an enduro flavor to it. But we think a twist like that is something we're talking about to kind of augment what we've been doing. And a lot of information I'm giving here, but we're also expecting potentially to see some of the races increase in length, and it's important for us to be able to also broadcast them all. So we're working with Apex Sim Racing TV to see what can be done there so that we can still bring most, if not all, the action to you all. But we could see upwards of, a 6, 8, even 12-hour or more length race with IRTES, and just super excited about it. So if you didn't get the opportunity to race in IRTES this season, be on the lookout for some announcements. We may also bring the season back. We've got a lot of planning to do here, but we may also bring the season back to be start a little bit earlier. The summer was a bit of a grind, and so we could see something start as soon as the December-January timeframe, and then maybe have a little bit of a break around kind of that Daytona time when endurance season gets really busy on iRacing, and then we get back and focus on it. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then, Ryan, I want to let you talk a little bit maybe on the third thing that we wanted to just kind of shed some light on, and that's what to expect from this series, the Wednesday night series. I've gotten a little bit of a preview, and I know you guys have shared some stuff with the members, but do you want to take a minute and talk a little bit about kind of what we might be able to look forward to on Wednesday nights after a little break?
Absolutely. So we've been, this was our last race of this season, of course, and we're going to just take a little bit of a break, as we always do. So a couple of weeks off, and then we'll get into 1 or 2 preseason races before the next season starts proper. And that season, keep it in mind, we've been running these GT3s now for quite a while. So there's a lot of people that still love to run them, and an equal number of people who are, looking for something different at this point. Getting itchy feet, so to speak, to race a different car. So we are going back to multi-class and are going to be racing the new to iRacing LMP3 along with the GT3s. So all the cars that you've seen this season, with the addition of the LMP3 for some really intense multi-class racing. It's going to be a really good combo. We've done quite a bit of testing already. The LMP3 is quicker on average by a good few seconds around most tracks. So it's enough to be able to get by relatively easily, but depending on the corner, you might have to to plan your pass a little bit more carefully. And it's going to be really good. We're still working out, finalizing the list of tracks and some of the other details, but expect a similar format to this season in terms of number of races, length of races, and things like that. We will be getting rid temporarily of the Pro and Am classifications because we now have 2 classes. So those will take the place of Pro and Am. And that's about it for now. But more announcements to come in the next few days to a week or so. And hope to see everybody out there again next season. Whether you're going to stick with the GT3s or move over to the LMP3, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ryan. I know I am super excited about that. I love hearing about the new car, and adding that into the fold, that's going to make things really exciting. And so, yeah, I think to wrap up here for Ryan and I, Ryan, thank you for all the time that you and I have spent in the booth. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know you and I will get out here as much as we can next season as well. Also, hopefully we can get Liam and Mark and some of the others back out here with us, but we love bringing these races to you. Anything you want to say, Ryan, to the viewers or members before we wrap for the night?
No, that's about it. Thanks everybody for watching, and for another great season of GT3 racing here with the Wednesday night series at Champion Motorsports.
Yeah, and thank you, Ryan, for all that you do for the series, as well as all of the admin team that puts so much effort into making this all possible. And right now, guys, a little bit of a break. IRTES just finished, and GT3 Sprints just finished, but the trucks are going strong. So come join us this Friday night at Pocono. You will be glad you did. I promise you, there is a ton of fun to be had and a lot of strategy in those races and some terrific racing. So we look forward to seeing some of you on Friday. And until next time, I will say good night and bid a farewell for Ryan Thompson and I. And hope you enjoyed the race tonight. Congratulations to Chad Dick on the win in the AM class, and to Victor Tanaka on the win in the Pro class, as well as Bobby and Miguel, our champions, unofficially, of course, but really good reason to believe that will stick with both of them, and we really enjoyed bringing it to you tonight. So, Ryan, I think we're done.
I think we are.
All right, everybody, have a good night. We will see you next time, and until then, we'll see you on the track.